We might have just had the most brilliant or the most dumb idea ever. Can we make a $100,000 concept?
A lot of this has to be vibe. Like, we have to sell the vibe and the feeling of this place.
Come on. Wow.
Provided all team members are above the age of 18.
I am not 18 yet.
Pretty nervous. I don't know if it's big enough. We have got approximately 40-ish hours left. Right now it's taking like 5 minutes to render a frame, so we're gonna see if this works out.
Hey guys, we filmed this video a little while back and we just haven't been able to get to it yet, but we still wanted to share it with you guys, so here it is.
There's a lot to get done and we have 13 days to do this. Yeah, we need to get to work and go fast. So we stumbled across this contest called the Artlist 100K Fund. It's where the company puts on a contest. The best pitch for a video or film idea gets $100,000 to create that project. We tossed around a couple ideas for short films, one of them being a World War II short film, but we just didn't feel as if it justified the budget. So that's why we went with a fantasy short film.
We were talking about our confidence level and just being able to say, okay, even if you don't give us the money for this, we're still gonna go make this. We gotta start shooting this thing soon if we want enough time to finish editing it. Yep. Cookie says goodbye.
So the way that it works is the top couple pitch videos get themselves into a pitch meeting with the company where they have a chance to sell the company on their pitch idea. So that made getting into the pitch meeting our #1 priority. So for us, concept art was the best tool that we had at our disposal to kind of expand the idea and the vision of this world. The main 4 types of concept art that we did were characters, environments, creatures, and maps.
Concept artist at work. We're coming up with the evil bad guy race. We're mostly focusing on the faces because that's probably going to be the only visible part. We like the beady eyes kind of on that one. Just varying bone structures. We want it to look intelligent and evil. Some of the ones that I was working on, just the big mouth and like the small eyes.
I've also been working on some map building. So there's this program called Nortantis. Basically generates a world of sorts, and then you can edit it to kind of how you like. Mountains, forests, rivers, towns, and such.
Here are some of the fantasy world building concepts that we came up with to help separate this world from our own. So for instance, there's the crescent sun, which has phases, so it waxes and wanes instead of the moon. There are the marching stones, which move in predictable routes that people can use for transportation and trade and sometimes even war. Edible currencies, religions, etc.
So I've been working on the concept art for the chained hands thing for one of the shots. Kind of the inspiration for that was taking one of the hands and then these chains and then kind of combining those two to have the chains going across a big bridge, which the people had built on it afterwards. In 3D, this is what it looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and render this one out again. Okay, that's moody.
It's darker than your soul.
And I want to be putting like snow and stuff flying around too.
Yeah.
I'll be texturing stuff as well. I like the little spot of light in there. Could look something like this.
I am more optimistic than I was.
Isaac looked again in the terms and regulations, and lo and behold, all team members had to be above the age of 18 to participate.
I am not 18 yet.
And technically Josh had assisted us and helped out a little bit too, and he wasn't 18 either. So there was that to worry about.
But why does it matter?
Asking if there's a way that we can still participate.
If you live in any of these places, you're either welcome or I'm sorry.
To find inspiration for countries and cities' names, I took out an atlas of the world and just began to go over it, taking inspiration from certain regions to give the world an implied feeling of culture.
So we're doing some light.
When you move it around like this, you get quite a bit of light.
Okay, so we're thinking if someone's sitting here, we get a motivated light on the table here.
A lot of this has to be vibe. Like, we have to sell the vibe and the feeling of this place. It's a work in progress, but I'm feeling good about it. 12 days left, cruising along.
There were 3 main shots that we decided to take from the idea of a concept piece to actually being made in 3D. The first one was a shot of the marching stone. The second one was the Ilgathal's hands with the chain bridge in between. And the third shot would be of the Karagur itself. We thought that was a good use of our 3 CG shots. So Seth got to work on those, mainly using Blender and After Effects.
Recently I've been working on the moving stones. We have people on top here that are catching a ride. It's actually the flag of Poland. Just
Did you put some chromatic aberration on that?
I may have done. If you throw on a luma key, the blur, and actually the main effect, which is the warp stabilizer, which means they don't move because the camera's moving. Don't worry about that hand being cut off. You just scale it down, stick it on top, move it around different parts of clips, and then you can see they're moving around up there, having the time of their lives. This dust element here is actually fractal noise generated from the After Effects file itself. The Blender file here is dynamically displacing the ground, and yeah, it's pretty much what it looks like. We'll keep working on stuff and hopefully get some stuff filmed tomorrow.
To increase the production value of our pitch, we decided it would be a good idea to include as many high-quality props as possible, and the first thing that we thought of is swords. So our buddy Caleb, who is actually in the last film and in the film that we're making now, was kind enough to let us borrow 3 of his very nice swords.
Might be able to shoot some stuff tonight. So I decided to build a torch. Just looking for sticks. Torch.
For one of our shots, we wanted to have me holding a sword in one hand and a torch in the other. And we kind of figured out the best way to do that would be to build this torch practically. How hard could it be?
Okay, we got some fire going. Something. Oh, there we go.
Also, does bug spray burn? Yeah.
Come on. Wow. Camp dry burns too, so we're gonna...
I wonder what happens when you spray it on it.
It worked pretty well on everything else.
Wow.
Look at that.
Got a reply. We spoke with our legal team and decided it was need to be 18 by the submission date.
So this is how we kind of worked around it, is that we figured that the main reason that they wanted everybody to be over 18 was for tax reasons. We would have to submit the film through Seth's name, and then were we to get into a pitch meeting, that would be his problem, and he would have to answer all the questions.
How do you feel about doing a pitch?
Pretty nervous, actually.
So it would technically be Seth's project, and then in the case of it being greenlit, Josh and I would hop on and, help out a little bit.
So we've got our light setup over there. We need to figure out our shots because we're only gonna have like a minute of good flame. So Seth's gonna be backlit like that, and then he's gonna have the torch. All right, so Seth's gonna go spray the torch, and then we will get down to business.
That's it.
Yep, that's good. Okay, you ready?
Ready, go.
So that was the torch shot. We're probably gonna use like 5 seconds of that. I think that's all we're gonna shoot for tonight, and then we're gonna shoot
Study and candle and lantern tomorrow.
We've got 6 days and 14 hours left to finish this up.
So we needed a location in which to film the pitch video, but since we had sold the castle that had been in our family for 9 centuries, we had to find a substitute. So obviously, we went to the chicken shed to film there.
I'm gonna organize it a bit, then we can start filling it up with the kind of stuff that we want. We're gonna be filming from close to there, so I basically have to clean out everything that the camera might be able to see.
All right, here we go. The table's cleaned out, and we moved a bunch of stuff. Cookie, what do you say?
We read this little blog from Artlist.
Tips for creating your pitch video.
They had define your concept. And we didn't really do that. So essentially, we had to take a script this long that was just talking about the world and make it this long.
Okay, here we are with our slightly updated set here.
We're gonna have the moonlight shining in the window. We're gonna have a candle. And then this light is just bringing up the exposure of the room with some bounce. Yeah, and then we have our script, which I printed out. We're shooting this part in here, and then that part probably inside.
Printed out a map. We're gonna do some coffee and
Hopefully it looks old-ish. Start painting, and then I'll sort of kind of paint that out. Behold the costume. We have pretty much finalized the setup. Audio sounding pretty good. 3 paragraphs to get through, and then we'll be done with the shoot.
We filmed the interior scene without too many hiccups and ended up with 8 shots that would make it to the final pitch. We have wrapped with shooting a half page. It's what, 11, almost 30?
Yep.
We've been shooting for about 2 hours. I could throw together an assembly edit tomorrow. I'm tired. Yo, what's up? It is tomorrow.
So I compiled these shots really quick, and then I did a quick color grade on wide shots. You can pause the video if you want to see all these nodes, but this is the general setup if you want to take notes from the big boys. Not like I stole that node tree from anyone.
Monuments of decay.
So I think tonight we're probably going to be shooting the second half, but we need to work on some B-roll shots. I have to do a lot of sound design on this.
if I can maybe do some way to do a render or 3D movement of a little bit of the corridor, we'll see.
Then we set up for my half of the shoot, where I expanded on the vision of the pitch.
We're both ridiculously worn out because this project has been consuming every spare minute of time that we have. Yeah, I cannot wait until I can take a break. Now I'm gonna film Seth. Let's do it.
It will be filmed with an emphasis on getting as much in camera as possible.
All right, so we just wrapped shooting the pitch video. It's 12. I have school tomorrow.
Okay, so the Photoshop model that Isaac had mocked up was pretty good and all, but it wasn't going to cut it for what we needed for the pitch video. So I took on the challenge of creating it in 3D. I started with a base mesh of a head and just kind of went from there.
Real-time rendering, folks.
This looks like the Gollum game.
Better than the Golem game. Expertly crafted.
Yeah,
Trying not to hit it with too much light.
We have got approximately 40-ish hours left.
We have to also render out at least a couple frames of the mountain shot. I'm thinking of interpolating it.
I only need about 3 or 4 seconds. Is that a lot?
Right now it's taking like 5 minutes to render a frame, so.
At that point, we had finished the character design for our 3 leads, and I totally did not sketch one of those during the church service. What most people tend to forget about filmmaking and editing in general is that sound is half of the viewing experience. So in order to make this pitch as good as it could possibly be and take it to its full potential, I did a lot of sound work.
I made a list of the sound effects that I needed to get. I have an assembly edit of this. I'll figure out a way to make those look cool in After Effects, probably one day in 13 hours. This is the last day that we have to work on this. Yep. We need to light up the rain when the lightning.
Do you like the blur in the background too?
Is it anamorphic?
Look at that.
I thought you were gonna make teeth.
It's too dark, you can't see them.
So I've just been doing some stuff in After Effects, just adding the ink on top of this, and then adding this table back here. This one was a little trickier. I added in the Kagura shot that Seth gave me. Their time. Yeah. I need to do a bit more work on the logo. I've done some sound design. Seth is gonna send me the finished mountain shot. 16 hours and 47 minutes. Yeah, not bad. I'm feeling pretty confident that we can finish it tonight. So I just had this stupid idea. When the minstrel shows up in the song, he has a stringed instrument, so I'm like, what if they have, what if there's one chord? Throw a D minor in there.
Meanwhile, over at my desk, we have rendering. It's really great. Hundreds of frames at least, I don't know. We're gonna see if this works out.
This is how the ukulele sound effect actually worked out. This is what it sounds like by itself. I'm missing a candle getting blown out.
2 minutes and 48 seconds or so per frame. Rendering every third frame to see if we can do some interpolation. So it'll be done in a couple hours. All these videos are us just being really tired at night. I had to interpolate some of the frames.
Interpolation is when you render out every other frame or every third frame and use a program to guess the in-betweens to save on render time.
I'm now rendering out the final shot. Look at the time.
That looks sick. Cool. I thought I hit it. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah!
2 weeks of stupidly hard.
Yes!
That did not exist 2 weeks ago. Let's do it. Go. Artlist. 10 whole hours early.
Look at that.
How do you feel about our chances?
I feel decent.
I think for sure we have the best pitch. I can actually sleep now.
There were something like 1,000 other entries. We were feeling pretty good about our chances of getting into the pitch meeting, actually. But there was no way to know for sure until we got the email back from them. Well, that did not exactly go according to plan.
Here's the moment of truth. Is that really it?
I think that's it, yeah.
So we didn't even get into a pitch meeting. Really?
How long did we spend on this?
2 weeks. I guess I just always imagined that we would get into the pitch meeting.
You just can't take anything for granted.
So we did learn a lot. Used torches for the first time. First outdoor night shoot. As far as this project, we're done with it as of now. If you're sitting at home and you're watching this and you're afraid of making stuff, then make some stuff.
If you fail like us, it's okay. At least we tried. Maybe in the future, if we look back and say, wow, remember how bad we were? We're still bad, but maybe we're less bad.
Let's go make some stuff.
Yeah. If you guys want to check out the finished video, you can find that here. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will catch you in the next one.